Now, Matty, I wanted to ask you something about, we were talking yesterday about Naomi Fox, and I noticed you got a little bit emotional when talking about her relationship with Jess and her gold medal. Can you delve into that a bit for me?
Missile, because I'm a parent, first of all. A parent, you understand how proud you would be. But also to be a parent of two kids that are in professional sport and the extra complexity that brings. Now, when you're a parent and your children in professional sport, particularly two, you just don't get any clear air. You don't. There's always one that's up and one that's down. It is always the way. You're looking, one's having a great day, the one's having a bad day. And it's, for a parent, it is just so tough. There was one time, a funny, well, I'll give you the best example, right? My two boys last year played each other at Mudgee. Newcastle versus Manly at Mudgee, and it was special for us because my mother and my grandmother are Mudgee girls. My grandmother was a publican there, and so it was really nice. And I thought, my God, my two, this occasion for the family, and they're playing against each other. And everywhere I went, they were like, "Okay, who's going to win?" Now, for me, it was piss take, but I was saying, "Oh, I've already read the script. It's going to go into Golden Point. It's going to end up a draw." Well, it went into Golden Point, end up 32 all.
That's right.
Yeah. Wow. It was unbelievable. But what happened, Crash, is that Jack probably had his best game in first grade, and Cooper had one of his many stinkers, right?
He says with incredible ability.
No, but Jack played a great game. Cooper struggled, and they both come off together, right? And they said, "Can we get a photo?" And I've got I've got it here on my phone, and there they are.
Yeah.
They get there, we'll show it. And there they are standing together at full time, and you can see Jack's he's beaming, and Cooper's got a real strange smile.
Yeah.
But I walk off, and they come over to me, and I grab Jack and I say, "Good on you, mate." I said, "That's the best. You deserve that. You worked your ass off." Then I turned to the other bloke, and he's sitting there, and I went, "You did okay, right?" And he said, "No, I played shit." I said, "No, mate, you did okay." And you're going one to the other. Now, the Fox parents, Jess's rise and her success, I can only imagine how proud they were. It must have been unbelievable. But they would have had one eye on Naomi as well. As Jess is becoming this amazing Olympic legend, you've got the younger sister trying to forge her own path, dealing with expectation, dealing with pressure, all that stuff. I reckon yesterday, her winning that gold medal, I've got no doubt that was the greatest moment in that family's life.
Yeah. And how do the relationships between Jess, who I think looks after Naomi a bit, did you find the same thing with Joey? Compare the relationships. How did you feel you were his keeper?
You do, being the oldest sibling. I think only an older sibling knows the dynamic. And you look at oftentimes the older siblings are sort of more, they carry more on their shoulders. The youngest sibling is sort of freestyle. They're freewheeling for whatever reason, and you become like a second father with myself and Andrew. And I remember when Andrew was a kid and he was playing under 15s at Newcastle, and I remember he got this terrible disease in his legs, and he could barely run. And it was undiagnosed for a long time, and it was osculolatus, which a lot of people get. And before he was diagnosed properly, he was playing 15s for the Knights, and I remember people would laugh when he was trialling, going, "Look at this kid, he's so slow, he can barely move." And I remember being the older brother, watching him, and the pain that caused me. I mean, nearly getting into fights with people. Fair play to David Waite. David Waite was the coach at the junior development at the time, and he said, "I know the kid can barely run. We don't know if he's got much going for him as far as football, but to go out and do that with what he's endured, we're going to sign him." And so sort of coming through the grades, you are always the older brother. You're always that way. You're always worried about him all the time, even though he doesn't give a about you. So my warning to Jess
Matty, we're all interested. It's such a fascinating the dynamic between you and Joey. Where is it at the moment? Like the Fox sisters were talking about how it's gone back and forth and ebbed and flowed.
It's funny, Crash. Okay, this sort of completes the circle. My oldest son, Jack, such a great kid. You know, really, he worries about the family too much. Worries about, Dad, you drink too much, all that sort of stuff. He's taken over Trish. He's a drink anyway, but he's that sort of kid. Cooper's sort of free-wheeling. But anyway, Jack says, "What? I don't like what's going on between you and Uncle Joey. I don't like it. It's not right." I'm so, we're brothers and that. He goes, "No, it's not right." So one day I'm sitting there and on the lounge, and it's a Sunday afternoon, I think it was. I'm having a couple of beers, and he goes, "Do you want to go for a drive, Dad?" I didn't really want to. I was, watching a movie. I said, "Okay, let's go for a drive." So we hop in the car, and we're driving. Where are we going? And we're driving. We're going over the Spit Bridge. Mate, where are we going? As we went over the Harbour Bridge, I knew where he was taking me. So I'm sitting out the front of him in the car, and I said, "Mate, come on," And he said, "Get the up there." So I went, "Okay." I got the lift up, and he knocked on the door and opened it up, and he went, "Yep," and I give Joey a big cuddle.
Really?
Yep. And he did that. Now, since then, we and Joey, a little bit. There's still a bit of ground to make up, but you're always brothers.
Yeah. What a great story.
Great to hear.
Yeah. Matty, I appreciate you sharing that story because it was a real insight.
I hope the family don't mind.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there going, anyway.
Yeah.